Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Yambo. Our top stories in the news: sentencing for 2 men who abducted 13 girls set for June 29, 2023. 16 UPND cadres sue the state demanding for over 12 million kwacha. Non-state actors refuse to be a mouthpiece for opposition political parties. In international news, debris field discovered within search area near Titanic. And in sports news, Zambia withdraws 3 teams from the Africa Beach Games.
The Ukuseka Bangwena Organizing Committee proudly present Legacy on the Greens, a prestigious golf tournament commemorating the 10th anniversary of Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's reign. Join us as we tee off with Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II on the 23rd of June at the exquisite Bonanza Golf Course in Lusaka, Zambia, for a day of elegance, camaraderie, and regal competition. Legacy on the Greens, celebrating Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's 10th anniversary on the throne. Don't miss this regal affair. Reserve your place today.
We now have the news in detail. The Zambia Council for Social Development, ZCSD, says Zambia needs to set its own development goals if it is to attain sustainable development. ZCSD Board Chairperson Jacob Makambwe notes that Zambia has continued to participate in a number of goals such as the Millennium Development Goals MDGs that ran from 2000 to 2015 but did not reach its target. He was speaking during the launch of the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals SDG scorecard aimed at assessing the performance of the country in attaining the SDGs so far. More in this report.
Various non-government organizations, among them the Civil Society for Poverty Reduction, Disability Rights Watch, the Zambia National Women's Lobby, and the Governance Elections Advocacy Research Services GEARS, convened Thursday morning in Lusaka to assess the performance of the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which Zambia is signatory to. Zambia in 2015, along with other UN member countries, adopted 17 goals which border around ending hunger and poverty, achieving gender equality, and ensuring easy access to education, as well as water and sanitation, among other key goals. The meeting was spearheaded by the Zambia Council for Social Development, who through its board chairperson Jacob Makambwe has called for homegrown development goals.
So the millennium passed. Now we have the Sustainable Development Goals. So somebody was asking, so in terms of putting a yardstick for development, do we have to wait for people to give us a yardstick so that we can actually show that we are putting much into the education sector? We are putting so much into the health sector. So sometimes, apart from putting up these yardsticks that are maybe developed elsewhere where you just want to adopt, at times you have to localize.
By 2030, we've aspired, alongside other United Nations countries world over, that we're going to be a more equal society, we're going to be a more just society, we'll have no hunger, and we'll live better. And to help us get to where we want to be, we have about 16 Sustainable Development Goals. So today, the scorecard that we are launching, which is in partnership with Action for Sustainable Development, means that Zambian civil society organizations will be participating in a global scorecard.
Stakeholders present, among them the Zambia National Women's Lobby and the Disability Rights Watch, have pointed out areas for improvement if the country is to meet these goals.
lagging behind because we are at 13% in terms of representation of women in parliament. Then at local government we are at 8%. And then if you look at cabinet level, we are at 17%. So we are still very far, and we still need to do a lot of things. And most of the countries have actually progressed. So I think it's a problem which we need to address in the country.
A lot of the indicators that speak to ending inequalities and poverty haven't performed as well as they should have done. Whilst it is commendable that the amount of resources that have been budgeted for social protection programs have been consistently released under the new Dawn administration, the impact of those releases are yet to be seen because we have not seen the trickle-down benefit to the communities, especially where it results around inclusive education as well as access to economic empowerment support programs are concerned.
The stakeholders have called for the voices of children to be heard even as the SDGs are being implemented, stating that their future depends on how well the SDGs perform. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Residents of Mwalumina Ward in Chongo District are living in fear after 2 community members have allegedly been gunned down by unknown people. Village headman Kapini says the 2 murders have been reported to the police, but that no arrests have so far been made because the perpetrators are not yet known. They have since called on their Member of Parliament, Sylvia Masebo, to consider commissioning a police post in the area in order to have police presence. Meanwhile, Chongwe Member of Parliament, Sylvia Masebo, has asked the traditional leadership in the area to organize a meeting and invite her in order to find a solution to the challenge. Meanwhile, the minister has commissioned 2 1x3 classroom blocks and 1 ablution block at Chiliabale Basic and Chongo Primary School, built using the Constituency Development Funds CDF. More in this report.
In the rural areas of Chongo District in Lusaka Province is Mwalumina Ward, known for its quietness and peace, yet the peace of this area has been tested after some unknown criminals allegedly shot dead 2 people, a situation that has brought fear to this rural part. Chongwe Constituency Chair Lady Elena Mwandikisa and Mwalumina Village Headman Kapini, who conferred with the area Member of Parliament Sylvia Masebo Thursday morning, narrates how the community has been left traumatized.
Tunawapeza wakapokora tunawauza utise kwatu tanyanya kufa futi funika mwike konzeru futi zili manyumba abantu bakufa every day na mafuta so bamayi bafa so uyu mwana ni anzeripo aliko msika anenzeripo pa kushuta futi jamuzi aziba information yonse aizi tendi mabandu aiziba information yonse
so mumuzi mwanga pa kucha kwa Wednesday ndiye pamene manapa ya mwana wa muzi mwanga so ninkani ya kuti tayopa maningi kumalo kwatu so tifuna kuti tionepo pankani imandi especially kani ya police.
In the area, Member of Parliament Sylvia Masebo wants those behind the brutal attack brought to book and has since called on the village headman to organize a meeting and invite her in order to discuss the way forward on the matter.
So many people are losing their animals. There are a lot of people who are being killed every day, and there are no arrests that are being made. That is the biggest problem. But I think you have suspects, so help the police.
Meanwhile, Ms. Masebo has commissioned 2 1x3 classroom blocks at Chiliabana Basic and Chongwe Primary School, including an ablution block of valid at 1.65 million KWACHA under the 2022 Constituency Development Funds.
MPs, every day, every weekend of our life, we hear of a school which has been constructed. We hear of a clinic which is being constructed. We hear of water supply which is being constructed. We hear of electrification. We hear of children being trained under CDF. Isn't it a beautiful time? Isn't it nice?
Well, the Ward Development Committee Chair Lady Grace Kapila says CDF is a game changer and that massive constructions are currently taking place in the district.
also express my gratitude to Chongo Municipal Council and all stakeholders for upholding transparency and selfless dedication towards the implementation of the CDF in our district.
And some parents are happy to see the development, but those residing near Chiliabala Basic School have called on government to consider upgrading the school from basic to secondary, adding that most grade 9 to 12 pupils walk long distance to access school.
Distance to nakatali mpako sote nzo pempo tati nangapano swanga bwe batikirapo 10 to 12 pamalo yaliko kuja kumbuyo watu wangatima ngireko na sotati bana pankalako pa school pankalako pa fupi na school bikila pa klasi yebatipasa bapitilize bana wenzo paka mklasi
ine ningatotela kuli mwe bonse abapano kuikatishanya eko wa mangefe balanda.
For some pupils, the development has elated them.
Education is the key to success. It is an equalizer. Now, education without proper infrastructure brings down the morale of teachers. It brings down the morale of learners.
The Citizens First Party has alleged that the governing United Party for National Development Administration has embarked on an agenda to frustrate opposition political parties through arbitrary arrests. Mr. Kalaba has, however, vowed that they will not be deterred from providing checks and balances in the wake of what he termed as political persecution. Meanwhile, National Restoration Party Deputy Secretary General Martin Mulenga says the arrests being conducted by the law enforcement wings are a manifestation of the implementation of the rule of law. More in this report.
Opposition political parties in Zambia have continued to be agitated by what they perceive as political victimization in the wake of arrests of government critics. On Wednesday, Camnet TV was informed of the pending arrests of PF officials by its media director, Edwin Rifekelo, who disclosed that former Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo and former Defense Ministers Geoffrey Wariamwamba and Davis Chama have been targeted for arrests. He alleges that the arrests are meant to preoccupy opposition political parties with court issues at the expense of mobilizing their political parties for the next general election in 2026.
Our appeal, like I keep on saying, is that let's do the right thing. Let's not dictate issues based on the fact that because it was justifiable under PF to persecute individuals or arrest individuals with impunity, then it's also normal for UPND to do the same. I think that if they are going to rule by the so-called rule of law, and if they want to be different from what PF was, as they allege that PF was ABCD, I think that they must show and walk the talk.
But those who sympathize with the United Party for National Development Administration, they insist that the arrests are a manifestation of the enforcement of the rule of law. Martin Mulenga is National Restoration Party Deputy Secretary General.
People have reached an extent that even to levels where they would want to do forged letters, they would want to do this, they want to involve themselves in a lot of things, and they would expect the government to keep watching. We're in a country that is governed by a constitution, the country that respects the rules that we've given for ourselves. And if you're found wanting, the law enforcement agencies don't need to watch. They need to make you account for whatever you're doing. And once you cry persecution, then make any water. The only opportunity that you have is to exonerate yourself, probably in the course of law. And that is what is expected in a democratic country like ourselves, like ours. Now, we've seen an extent that people want to take things for granted. We don't have any other country apart from Zambia.
But Citizens First Party President Hari Kalaba says, inasmuch as they do not want to shield those who may have committed crimes, he is however concerned with the manner and approach. He says nothing will deter them from providing checks and balances and undertaking political party mobilization activities.
Well, I think the intention of the current regime is to discourage us, it is to weigh us down, it is to ensure that we don't move at the pace that we should move. But that they will not succeed because we understand the machinations. It's only sad that a regime that had promised to make things different is failing to make things different, and they have continued. on the same path of destruction, of wanting to oppress all of us in the opposition. I mean, not that we are protecting anybody that is doing anything wrong, but the manner in which it is being done is so oppressive. It's like we are back, or we are in a military junta, so to say.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Operation Young Vote OIV Executive Director Ges Nyirenda has charged that civil society organizations in Zambia are not a mouthpiece of the opposition political parties. In an interview, Mr. Nyirenda says opposition political parties, among them the former ruling Patriotic Front, have been accusing civil society of being bought off, hence their perceived silence on governance issues in the country. He says it is wrong for the opposition political parties to expect CSOs to speak on their behalf, further stating that CSOs only speak on behalf of the ordinary Zambian people. Here's a report.
Civil society organizations in Zambia are known for being vocal on governance issues and have in the past fought running battles with the Zambia police, as they have been arrested for protesting on various issues. Following the arrest of Patriotic Front members among other political parties on different charges, since the change of administration in 2021, some opposition political parties have accused civil society, as well as the international community, of not speaking out against what they have termed as a breakdown in the rule of law, as they did during the previous administration.
So this diminishing democracy that we're seeing in this country, I think it's something that everybody should be concerned about, including the international community, who shockingly are very quiet these days. Now they are quiet. It's not about a person or a political party, it's about Zambia. They should be on the side of Zambians.
Operation Young Vote Executive Director Ges Nyirenda, who is also a member of the Council of Non-Governmental Organizations, had this to say on their sessions.
Politicians must not think that we are speaking for them. We are speaking for the Zambian people. We are speaking for the sake of human rights and not for politicians. So if PF thinks that we are going to speak their propaganda, we are not going to go there. No, if UPND thinks that we are going to speak their propaganda, we are not going there. We are as neutral and as professional as we can, and we will only speak on behalf of the people of Zambia. So for anyone to think otherwise, we will not go there. So a caution to politicians, especially those that have left power or have lost power. They should not think that, look, we will speak for them and so that they get into power. We will not do that. So they must just bear that at the back of their minds, because we are speaking for the Zambian people.
Mr. Nyirenda also states that allegations indicating that the current administration has bought off civil society organizations through appointments are baseless.
If leadership thinks that there's value in this one to be appointed in this position, let it be so, because that appointment is actually not for the benefit of that particular individual or for the benefit of that particular civil society they are coming from. It is for the benefit of Zambia.
He has called on all political parties to adhere to the law, stating that civil society will only speak out on what they perceive as pure injustice. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Chachacha Party leader Eric Chanda has challenged local authorities in the country to publish in print media all the projects that have been constructed using the Constituency Development Fund CDF. Mr. Chanda says the Zambian people deserve to know how many projects have been done using the 2022 CDF and how much has been spent on each project. He says CDF is people's money and that every coin should be accounted for. Meanwhile, Mr. Chanda has also demanded to know what projects have been embarked on for implementations using the 2013 Constituency Development Fund CDF. He says the first half of 2023 has already been completed, yet the 2022 CDF allocation is still being implemented.
We call upon all members of Parliament
together with all councils across the country, to publish in the print media all the projects under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. The Zambian people want to know what projects has been undertaken and how much was the cost of each project. CDF is people's money, and we demand to know how each and every coin of our 25.7 million CDF for 2022 was spent in each constituency. We demand to know how much has gone to the school desks, student bursaries, construction of schools and new classroom blocks. How much has gone to marketeers and our vendors? How much has gone to water, roads and other constituency projects?
16 United Party for National Development cadres have sued the state in the High Court, demanding 12 million kwacha as compensation for alleged false imprisonment and malicious prosecution. In an affidavit of summons filed before Lusaka High Court, the plaintiffs are alleging that on September 15, 2015, they were arrested by police in Lusaka and charged with an offense of unauthorized procession after offering solidarity to the then PF expelled Chongwe Member of Parliament Sylvia Masebo at the subordinate courts in Lusaka. Manyando and others are claiming compensation for false imprisonment regarding treatment and malicious prosecution amounting to 12,750,000 kwacha, 490,161,000 kwacha for loss of business, and 550,000 kwacha for legal fees. The cadres claim that after going through a full trial on December 26, 2017, were found not guilty of the said offense and were discharged, hence claiming an order and declaration that the 17 days the plaintiffs were detained in police custody was unlawful. An official from the Zambia Public Procurement Authority, ZPPA, who told the Economic and Financial Crimes Court that former Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Kennedy Malama and 8 others did not stick to procurement guidelines during the purchase of 50 ambulances, has testified that Zambia Public Procurement Authority did not review the said contract. Gilbert Mbewe, a manager for contracts and procurement audit at the ministry, says the procurement was done using limited bidding, where a tender is only extended to a limited number of bidders. During cross-examination, Mr. Mbewe disclosed that the state did not indicate which law was breached during the procurement of 50 ambulances. This is in a matter in which Dr. Malama is jointly charged with former Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Administration Kakulubelwa Mulalelo and 7 others with willful failure to comply with applicable law and procedure in the procurement, supply and delivery of 50 ambulances. Lusaka Magistrate Sanford Ngobola has adjourned the matter to the 25th and 27th of July 2023 for continuation of trial. The Lusaka High Court has set June 29, 2023 as date for sentencing in the matter involving 13 girls alleged to have been abducted last year in Lusaka's Chala area. This was when the matter came up for sentencing hearing before Judge Charles Kafunda, in which the 13 girls testified in camera. This is in the case where James Mulenga and Matthew Sikaunga are facing 54 counts against humanity, which they confessed to have committed. More in the following report.
Thursday, 8th June 2023, the Lusaka High Court was treated to silence for over 2 hours as the duo, James Mulenga and Matthew Sikaunga, who pleaded guilty to 54 counts against humanity and believed to have taken hostage of 13 girls in Lusaka for purposes of sexual abuse and assault with intent to steal, were convicted. James Mulenga and Matthew Sikaunga are alleged to have abducted 13 girls in Lusaka's Chalala area between March and October 2022 and appeared before High Court Judge Charles Kafunda for sentencing hearing today. The 2 convicts were supposed to appear before Judge Kafunda on Friday, 16th June 2023, but the matter could not take off as the Defense Counsel is alleged to have been unwell. However, the sentence hearing date was rescheduled to Thursday, 22nd June 2023 in Camera, where the 13 girls alleged to have been abducted testified against James Mulenga and Matthew Sikaonga. When the case is held in camera, members of the press and the public are not allowed to be part of the proceedings. In mitigation, the convicts asked for lenience as they are first offenders. James Mulenga and Matthew Sikaonga stand convicted with 54 counts of rape, attempted abduction of a child, aggravated assault with intent to steal, assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and assault causing grievous harm. During the proceedings, counselors were also on board and presented psychological effects, both short and long term, to the victims. Meanwhile, Lusaka High Court Judge Charles Kafunda has set 29th June 2023 as date for sentencing. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The African Council of Religious Leaders has expressed commitment to contribute towards protecting children against violence on the continent. Speaking with Camnet News on the sidelines of the workshop on ending violence against children being held in Lusaka, faith leaders underscored the need to safeguard the plight of children. Reverend Archbishop Albert Chama, the co-chair, African Council of Religious Leaders, says addressing children's issues cannot be left to the government alone. Details in this report.
Every child has the right to protection from all forms of violence. Hence, countries, Zambia inclusive, under the United Nations agenda, have committed to end violence against children by the year 2030. However, this is not a small task, given the rampant injustice that continue to occur, such as child abuse, child marriages, and child neglect, among other vices. The African Council of Religious Leaders is keen to contribute towards protecting children against violence. And on the sidelines of the workshop on ending violence against children being held in Lusaka, Thursday, 22nd June 2023, faith leaders underscored the need to safeguard the plight of children. And Reverend Archbishop Albert Chama, the co-chair of the African Council of Religious Leaders, says addressing children issues cannot be left to the government alone.
We have a faith community that you can go to, be Islam, Baha'i, Christianity, and others. We speak one voice in terms of protecting our children. And coming together as a fora, we are saying all of us, wherever we are, expressing our faith, there is this aspect of children being protected. It must be protected. And the protection we're talking about, we're starting with parents themselves. There must be good parenting. Then we're talking about enacting policies that are going to be able to protect children. And then we are saying let us implement together with the community, not only within the walls of our faith communities, but also outside the faith walls. Whoever we're interacting with has to learn that the child is precious, has to be protected.
Meanwhile, the Secretary General of the African Council of Religious Leaders, Dr. Francis Correa, says combating violence against children calls for partnerships and collaborative efforts.
To God's plan for human beings that is addressed by religious people and religious leaders. And therefore it's very important that faith leaders lead the war against violence against children and the harm done to children, because the scriptures are very clear that children need to be protected, loved and nurtured so that they can attain their full potential.
And we also spoke to Interfaith Network Group Executive Director Sivas Hamugoma.
Our role number one is to bring awareness to the communities that we serve that there is actually what is known as violence against children. Number two is to be able to utilize the instruments that are there in the fight against violence against children. For instance, in Zambia, we have the Child Code Act, which was signed last year. How do the religious leaders use this act in fighting against violence against children?
Other participants acknowledged that religious organizations have a huge role to play to end violence against children.
It's our sacrosanct duty to make sure that our children are protected, and the religious institution should say no to violence by, of course, capacity building the religious leader and the community, and empowering that child.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
You're watching Camnet Television News. We take our first commercial break. Join us for more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
The Ukusefya Bangwena Organizing Committee proudly present Legacy on the Greens, a prestigious golf tournament commemorating the 10th anniversary of Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's reign. Join us as we tee off with Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II on the 23rd of June at the exquisite Bonanza Golf Course in Lusaka, Zambia, for a day of elegance, camaraderie, and regal competition. Legacy on the Greens, celebrating Mwinelubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's 10th anniversary on the throne. Don't miss this regal affair. Reserve your place today.
The FARS 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you were born for greatness. See you there.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Community Action Against Corruption, CAAC, has urged the government, the Anti-Corruption Commission, SEC, and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to stop treating serious corruption cases with kid gloves. CAAC Chief Executive Officer Brighton Tembo says the announced approach of seizing and forfeiting properties linked to former President Edgar Lungu's family without emphasis on prosecution is regrettable. Mr. Tembo says the DPP's announcement that they intend to seize the properties belonging to former President Edgar Lungu's family without showing willingness of taking the matter to court is a clear indication that for some people in Zambia are way above the law. He says this approach is a weak way of fighting corruption, and it takes corruption to be a very safe practice by people in authority and very dangerous to the poor people.
We wish to advise the government, the Anti-Corruption Commission, and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution not to approach the fight against corruption with kindness and kids' gloves. You know, the announcement by the DPP to say that they intend to forfeit the properties suspected to be proceeds of crime owned by the family of the former president without allowing the process to undergo the prosecution process by the courts of law is the dangerous way of fighting corruption. At the same time, it is the weakest way of approaching the fight against corruption. Because in the future, the people who are the owners of those properties will come and challenge government to say those properties were wrongly forfeited to the state. So if the courts are allowed to take the process of prosecution, it is very much difficult for these people to come and claim ownership of the properties. But if the properties are seized without undergoing the process of prosecution and conviction, then there will be problems in the future. So we urge the DPP not to go through the process of just forfeiture, but they should allow the process of prosecution to take place. And if people are to be convicted, let the people be convicted. And if people are to be acquitted, let the people be acquitted. I think that is the best way to approach this situation.
Government through the Lusaka City Council has handed over a newly procured grader to Matero constituency meant for roads rehabilitation. The grader is the 2022 allocation of the Constituency Development Fund CDF for Matero constituency at a total cost of 2,310,440 kwacha. Officiating at the handover ceremony, Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu called on the community to work together with their elected leaders and prioritize the roads to be worked on. Mrs. Zulu expressed gratitude that the community, for now, prioritized the grader of other projects as it will help improve the roads in the area. Speaking at the same event, Lusaka City Council Mayor Chilando Chitangala assured the gathering of Lusaka City Council's commitment to ensure there is improved road network in Matero and Lusaka City as a whole. Meanwhile, Matero Member of Parliament Miles Sampa called for concerted efforts and peace among residents if the results of the Constituency Development Fund CDF are to be realized.
These challenges that the poor road networks bring in a constituency, I am delighted that as a constituency, you agreed to buy a grader. This will help you to improve and maintain your roads in a sustainable manner. Ladies and gentlemen, I am reliably informed that the grader cost 2,310,440 kwacha. This money came from CDF. We must commend the Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, and the UPND initiative to increase CDF from 1.6 million to 28.3 million. Honorable, you are very rich. I'm sure when the increment came, you were celebrating. You don't even have problems to calculate this time.
And the results are there.
You can imagine. Congratulations for this. This is what...
Me, I have a camera and they are watching on you. And if it leaves and goes to another constituency, Ebola takuja, no, we need to work in our neighbor, our constituency. Now, they also have their own money. So they have CDF. So this is for Matero, not my right. No constituency kumbi. Or no, the director. I will name and shame anyone that will abuse this grader. We need it to work. So if for any reason maybe the driver is sick, I must announce I want to take in interest, so I'm taking myself to a driving school to learn how to drive a grader. If it means working in the night, we need to work here. The people might want results, and I hope it has flashlights to work in the night. So we have 5 wards. To be working in all the wards. It does one road, it finishes, it goes to the next one. And we know, to make sure that it doesn't leave material, we're going to write big material CDF all over. Madam DC, I want to mention that here in material, we promote and we're looking for peace and unity.
Zambia Sugar says it takes the concerns and suggestions raised by the contractors seriously on the need to continue to safeguarding their interests. Loveness Nyirenda, one of the female contractors working with the firm during a consultative meeting, called on Zambia Sugar to increase business volumes offered to women local contractors so that they can expand their enterprises. And Company Corporate Affairs Manager Eugene Chungu reiterates that the firm believes in equal opportunities for contractors, regardless of whether they are women or men-run businesses. Chungu says what matters is the legal status, ability to fulfill contractual obligations, as well as competitiveness of bidders. He has since assured contractors and suppliers that meet all requirements necessary to be awarded contracts from the company, that they stand an equal chance to do business with Zambia Sugar. Overall, women contractors from Mazabuka are happy that their lives have been transformed over the years because of doing business with Zambia's largest sugar producer. Panos Institute Southern Africa says children need a space where they can voice out their concerns in their particular constituencies they stay. Organization Programs Manager Nevias Siantombo says giving children a platform, especially in the media, will help amplify their voices. He says there is need to have a robust media industry that is able to generate the right information and content that can stimulate the progressive engagements between citizens and leaders. Speaking during the launch of the 21st Mr. Zambia Platinum and Golden Media Awards today, Mr. Siantombo says for the children to make the right and informed decisions, they need to have right information for them to successfully engage with decision makers. And Linda Siwingwa, who spoke on behalf of the Mr. Zambia chairperson Barnabas Siamatende, says the awards seek to recognize the important role that media plays in strengthening democracy and good governance in Zambia. Meanwhile, ByZ founder Evans Ngoma has called on journalists to bring out issues and stories that promotes value addition and entrepreneurship in rural communities.
Communication for Development Organization, the media plays a very, very important role in our work because for the constituencies that we serve, to be able to do what we expect of them, they need actually to have the right information for them to make those informed decisions and take informed actions. And also they need the space through which they can actually voice out their concerns and their needs to the leaders that are supposed to actually provide the service that they need. Therefore, we need a robust media industry that is able actually to generate the right information, the content that actually, informs, empowers, and also stimulates those progressive, engagements.
We monitor each and every activity that you are doing and appreciate it. By the way, the patron for the ByZ campaign is the citizen #1, His Excellency the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. He too monitors each and every activity that you journalists are prolifying regards value addition regards consumption of locally produced goods as well as services, and he takes keen interest.
You're watching Camnet Television Main News. We'll take a second and final break. We'll have international sports news after the break.
Ukusefya Bangwena Organizing Committee proudly present Legacy on the Greens, a prestigious golf tournament commemorating the 10th anniversary of Mwine Lubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's reign. Join us as we tee off with Mwine Lubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II on the 23rd of June at the exquisite Bonanza Golf Course in Lusaka, Zambia, for a day of elegance, camaraderie, and regal competition. Legacy on the Greens, celebrating Mwine Lubemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II's 10th anniversary on the throne. Don't miss this regal affair. Reserve your place today.
The FARS 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you were born for greatness. See you there.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
And now in international news, the U.S. Coast Guard has said a debris field has been discovered within the search area by a remotely operated underwater vehicle near the Titanic. Experts within the Unified Command are evaluating the information. The debris field was found by a remotely operated vehicle deployed by Horizon Arctic, a Canadian vessel. It disappeared on Sunday in the Atlantic Ocean, some 435 miles south of Newfoundland, Canada, during an expedition dive to see the wreck of the Titanic. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
It seems as though those hopes are being dashed.
That would be my reading of it, frankly. The use of the word debris, the fact they've tweeted this information out, which they clearly regard as significant in terms of the public realm. Yeah, the word debris doesn't sound good at all. In a situation and at a depth where the water pressure is huge, 38 bar. I mean, that's many times the pressure inside your car tire. It can do considerable damage to vessels the like of the Titan, you know, on the seabed 4,000 meters down. So should the worst have happened to the Titan, and we don't know if that's the case yet, that's to be confirmed, but should the worst have happened and that vessel was broken up somehow by the pressures at that depth, then the word debris would absolutely fit that worst case scenario. There is due to be a news conference. I'm outside the Coast Guard Command Centre here in Boston. We expect to hear from them publicly on the record sometime soon, but this news doesn't sound good. It reads in a very dark way. The detail presumably will be fleshed out in time, and indeed we are still analysing what has been found. This is a day, remember, when 2 remotely operated vehicles were sent into the depths to the search area, following the path line of the Titan. So today, really for the first time, they had the proper kit available to them, the proper kit with camera and sonar capabilities that would have enabled searchers to look effectively for the Titan. And on that day, they have discovered what they describe as debris. But, you know, the details are yet to be confirmed. We don't know what that debris is and what the significance of that news bulletin from the Coast Guard is. That will be confirmed in due course, but it doesn't look good.
It's time for sports news. In our sports news tonight, the National Olympic Committee of Zambia has announced its decision to withdraw a significant portion of Team Zambia from participating in the second edition of the African Beach Games scheduled to take place in Tunisia. NOCZ President Alfred Foloko tells Camnet News in a statement that the teams withdrawn include badminton, beach handball male and beach volleyball female. Mr. Foloko says this is due to the inability to secure timely air tickets for the teams to travel to Tunisia. He says in March 2023, Zambia confirmed its participation at the second beach games to compete in the 3 sports codes as they are earmarked as qualifiers to the World Beach Games to be held in August 2023. To end Camnet Television News, the headlines once again. Sentencing for 2 men who abducted 13 girls set for June 29, 2023. 16 UPND cadres sue the state demanding over 12 million KWACHA. Non-state actors refuse to be a mouthpiece for opposition political parties. In international news, debris field discovered within search area near Titanic. And in sports news, Zambia withdraws 3 teams from the Africa Beach Games. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of James 1, verse 27. Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. Thank you so much for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Siambo. Bye-bye.